crafty friends, it's Sharon Luska from My Crafty Greetings, and we're hopping along with Collected Crafty Collabs with the Squirrel Girls, and we're going to be doing an LED card today. Now the theme is Christmas and or embossing paste, and I'm going to throw some LED lights in on this little card adventure today. So this is one of those kind of just discount packs of LED lights. There's 20 of them here. They're all linked up in what's called parallel. So there's one wire on each side of each light, so you're good to go. You can just cut them off as you want, and I removed the battery pack portion and have just got the string of LED lights here. And I'm going to cut a little Christmas tree here. Some of you may recognize this from a former Stampin' Up! Die set, and hopefully I don't poke through my finger. I was gonna try and find a bleeding finger scene from Halloween to put here, but anyways, I guess we're past Halloween and bleeding jokes, right? So I'm just going to use a pencil to mark on this fun foam piece that's already got some pre-adhesive on it. I thought that would make it easier to stick this little baby down once I get it assembled together. We're going to put our lights in behind this little Christmas tree here and all the little holes, and you can see off to the side I've got a piece of vellum. Now I'm going to let this Tombow Mono Multi Glue dry a little bit before I squish this together, just to make sure I don't end up with any sticky parts. And I'm going to get this all sandwiched together. So the next person on the hop is going to be listed below in my drop down box, so don't forget to go below and go see the next person and leave my fellow crafters some love. This is a Nellie's multi-stack that I have from my stash, and then this is my favorite Tim Holtz stencil. Oh my gosh, I love this one. I wish I had a huge stencil like this one. I pulled out some Heidi Swapp paste, and I have retrieved some plastic packaging here that I'm going to be smoothing this with. We're going to be using a bunch of plastic packaging today. So, but don't forget, you can use it as a paste scraper if you've got leftover packaging. Don't throw it out, cut your pieces off, and you can still see the price tag on that one. So yeah, wasn't it something May, Ellie Mae or Pearl or something like that on some show used to wear a price tag on her hat? So back in the day, some of you may remember that. I was a kid. I added glitter to this, and I have been glittered like crazy ever since. So I also wanted to use this gloss product here as a embossing paste, and it's a little bit more kind of slick and slippery than regular embossing pastes are. It's a little less pasty, if you will. I don't know. So it yeah, it's different, but it's going to do what I want it to do. I just wanted to show you that it can be fun to emboss different surfaces. Go ahead and grab out some already glittered paper and emboss over it, pattern paper. I really like the idea of taking a metallic piece of paper and using some embossing paste over it. Now I'm showing you that I use this golden product here, but I also went ahead and pulled out some Ranger texture paste that was clear. So anyways, what I'm showing you here is I have cut from these packages this stiffer plastic. You are going to need to retrieve some stiffer plastic. So not your regular acetate, even if it is thick acetate. You need some of that stiff plastic, because this is going to be the handle by which we are able to create the on-off toggle for this LED light show that we're going to put in this Christmas tree. So I'm counting off a few lights here, and you are just going to give them a snip. No worry, you don't have to tie off any ends or reconnect anything. Here are the batteries. You want to use a 3-volt battery. So if you have 1.5-volt batteries, you can combine them together, or any brand that you have that's 3 volts you can use. So I'm using these ones, and they're a pretty typical size, so you'll already have some measurements, and I'll show you 2 actually battery codes a little later on. You can choose from either one of those. So on these light things, you have to make sure that you take off that little plastic film that I was showing you. And you can see with the plastic film gone, now I can connect it up to the battery here and make the lights work. Now the other thing that you have to know about these lights is they have a polarity. So if you've scratched off the plastic film and you push it against your battery and there's no light up action going on for you, go ahead and just switch the wires so that whatever you've pushed on the back of the battery, put that to the front of the battery and vice versa. So you can see that I had it flicking there once I had the one part taped down, and that's what you're going to do. Now I'm going to show you with paper this little kind of pull switch, toggle switch, whatever you want to call it. I guess it's a pull switch. It just gives you a different way of using these LED lights. I know there's some great products out there by Pear Blossom Press, and you know, if you want something quick and simple to do, her product is fantastic. I think there's something called Chibitronics, but if you want a light that will stay off in shipping and that the person can turn on and kind of like stand it up, this is your deal. So you can see here I've got it hooked through those two little holes in the clear plastic piece, and that is packaging, plastic packaging from, you know, sometimes your die sets come in them and stuff. So that wire part has been stripped, and we're just twisting that around now, and you can see it's nice and tightly secured around that little plastic section between the two holes. And we're going to flatten it out, and we're going to put a piece of tape on it, and I'm putting a piece of tape on not the part that's threaded through, on the part that is coming out. So the part that's threaded through can still connect, and I want you to slide that on your battery and make sure it is connecting. So now, whatever battery size you have, you want to use a scoreboard and figure out where approximately that battery is going to land. 7/8 is where the battery is going to land, and then you need to score 1/8 of an inch later at 1 inch. That leaves a little fold over piece. You're going to score again at 1 7/8 inch, and then at 2 inches. And you can cut this piece off to be about 2 3/4 inches wide. So you need a cardstock that's 2 3/4 by 1 3/4. Okay, so you can grab a screenshot of this. This is everything you need to know. 2 different styles of battery, all the sizes of the pieces that you need. So here's the other thing too, we're going to tape the battery inside this, and we already have one wire taped to the battery. So once you've reinforced all your folds and you got this little kind of sleeve looking thing, you're going to cut that right through. I didn't cut far enough, but you need to cut it right through to the bottom fold so that your wire can come out at the bottom. So here's your battery with the wire taped to the back. We're sticking that down on that two-sided tape, and we're just going to check and make sure that it's making good contact in there. Now you can take this and you can fold this over to make your little slide tunnel, and use some good two-sided tape to stick this all together so that your top flaps stay nice and tight, so that as you're pulling that, or as your person is pulling this in and out, that it's not coming undone. And you can see it's working there. Now it occurred to me as I was making this, I left the end a little too short. And I thought, you know what, if my cousin's kids were pulling this, they're gonna rip this sucker right out of there. So I put a stopper on the end, and in the measurements that I left for you, I left enough space that you would only need to cut a bar like I'm cutting for the other side, just to prevent that from being pulled through. You don't have to do this, but if you want to, I made my bars way bigger than they have to be. So you just need to make sure it's got some space to move when you're positioning these bars. And you can cut yours down so that they're smaller but just can't pull through. So here's my embossing dried, and I decided to go through with the Ranger texture paste. I just like that flourishy stuff so much better. And then I also added some more texture paste on my top piece here so that it would cover the whole front. I also have a little staggered, like a smaller size piece, a layering piece, if you will, and some of my packing foam again. I just wanted to give this a little bit of lift too. Now, one of the things that I do like about the packing foam, if you're cutting out windows, it's like fabric. If you were ripping cotton, it has a direction that it'll pull in. So as long as you get it started, you can just rip it right down and trim it off. Now I'm going to test drive all of this, like dry fit it all together and see how it goes. And if you're going to make a card, I would recommend don't make something as complicated as I'm making here. I don't know why I always do that, but I did. So this is a little piece that will just cut a hole further away. You can poke a hole or snip a hole, whatever you like. I'm going to glue down my light toggle here. And I'm looking where the wires are and just lining it up to make sure that all my pieces are within the bottom of the card and that my wire is actually going to reach up to that hole. Now the other thing that you need to do is once you've got that position, take a look at your pull toggle and cut a little room for a thumb grab. I'm threading through my lights here, and it occurred to me too that with all these extra layers, I'm gonna need to do more lining up. If it was just a flat piece of silver, you wouldn't have the same problem, but I want my design to fit within the parameters of that cutout. So I'm just using some pencil lines here, and I'm gonna put some liquid glue around to get it stuck down, and that's gonna hide the wires as they come up into the Christmas tree. Now what I did is put a little too much glue on the bottom. I started getting scared that I was going to inhibit my wire from sliding back and forth and hitting the battery so that it toggles on and off, but it ended up fine. Word to the wise, or learn from my lesson, just make sure you leave it a little less glued down on the bottom of yours. Now here's where the extra big problem came in. I had to twist all that wire into that wee tiny tree. Probably not the best thing for me to have chosen to demonstrate for you guys today, being this is the first time I've ever done this card. So I'm just going to put some ATG, and I'm going to get this background piece secured on. And it's nice because now the Christmas tree's got a little lift to it, and I'm just adding some balled up ATG glue boogers, as I call them, to secure the lights inside the Christmas tree. And I'm going to pull off the sticky backing, or the backing protector, from the stickiness of the fun foam, and I'm going to try and wiggle this tree into place here and hide all these wires. I would probably recommend that if you're going to do this, that you do this a little differently than I did, but at least the toggle is the whole idea. Now I also thought, I've got a few different stars in my what are these things called? Sequins, I guess. And I pulled another glue booger and glued the two sequins together, and then I got a little gold guy that I'm just going to pop on the top here. I thought that would look really nice at the top of the tree, since I didn't make it even more complicated by trying to make the star light up. That would have really been quite the card. Anyways, I'm going to stick down my little star here on the top of my tree and get that all sorted. I am going to do another video to show you, in detail again, how to do this toggle and with some more specifics. Now you want to check and see the thickness of your little sleeve there, and make sure that you've got some foam tape that you can fold over, or whether the single layer of your foam tape matches up with your little box or not. Something just to hold up the layer that's going to be hiding all the mechanics of your card. Now you'll also see there I've penciled in where the moving parts are, so that I don't get them kind of bunched up with foam tape, because sometimes you put the foam tape down and then you go to work the card and you're like, why won't that slide? Oh yeah, because some dummy put foam tape there. So anyways, you're just going to be snipping away at some pieces. You might have a better way of getting the foam pieces arranged. If you wanted to hide them up hide the works up further inside the card, you might be able to have a little bit of an easier job putting in the foam tape. But basically, I just wanted to let this piece be supported, and you want to make sure that there is some room for the pull switch to slide back and forth. And I'm just making sure that the tape's not preventing that from moving. So I added some glue to that and realized, oh, you know what? I need to have a pull notch in the top piece as well. So I'm going to go from the back here, and I'm just lining up where it would be, and then drawing a pencil line so that I can see where it would land, and then cutting it with a little circle punch. You can use whatever punches you have, or you can just cut it with scissors, do a fishtail kind of thing if you want. And anyways, but you just need a piece of paper that's going to cover up the works, and then leaves a little notch so that you can actually see this. And there it goes, lighting up. Doop, 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 doop. I think that looks pretty cool. Now, I had used a piece of glitter cardstock from my stash, which once I got it all fitted together, I'm looking at this thinking, I don't like that. I'm still going to go ahead with it and see if I can make it work. And I decided that I was going to cover the pull toggle with a little bit of gold half circle, just to wrap it around and make it look a little more interesting. I think anybody who sees a thing protruding with a gold half circle will know to pull it, but I'll probably put a little note inside the card just pointing to it so that they know to open it and give it a little on-off switch. So I'm going to switch out this glitter cardstock, and this is what I did. I grabbed some more of that embossing paste, and you can use it just as paint. And then I'm going to throw some glitter over top of that so that it completely matches my card. I went ahead and added some plain cardstock behind it so that it's got some neat little line dimensions there. And then I'm also pulling in some silver to pull together that background and adding some little tiny strips here, which I thought ended up making it look pretty cool. And the reason I'm not using my pre-stickied strips that I usually make is because it's on glitter, and of course glitter makes everything not stick well. And I've got my Merry Christmas sentiment here from my friend Kathy. She loaned me the die so that I could cut this out. And there is the card for today. Thank you so much for joining me. And don't forget to hop along and say hello to all my friends. Leave them a comment. And if you haven't subscribed to the Talented Ladies Along the Hop, please go ahead and do that. That would be wonderful. And if you haven't already subscribed to me, I sure would love it if you would. That would be fantastic. And the other thing too, I wanted you to see, there's a nighttime picture. It actually shines the light right through the texture paste, which I thought was incredibly cool. I was hoping that it would show it here and that you'd be able to see it. Okay, there it is. Okay, have an awesome day. Thank you so much for stopping by, and we'll see you in another video again soon. Thanks so much. Bye.